All right. So here we go. We're going to try this again.
Yeah, take two.
There you go. Oh, you know how it is, man. You've been in the studio for quite a while, for some years, so doing
yeah.
It's nothing new to you.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
All right, man. With me right now, I got Smurf Lane, South Carolina's own Smurf Lane.
Yeah, you see it?
Yes, CEO of the Grind Squad. Now, before we get into how you got started with Grind, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you grew up in Columbia, South Carolina?
Yes, sir. Columbia, South Carolina. Henley Homes Projects, Rosewood Drive, straight out the bottom.
Damn, he went to the projects, the housing complex, and the street.
Yeah.
Now, you are you're an independent rap artist, right?
Right.
What inspired you to get into hip hop growing up in the late 80s, early 90s? Because the game has changed for hip hop from what it was now to what it is, or what it was then, to what it is now.
Right. Honestly, man, I started doing poetry, man. Doing poetry was my way is like my outlet. We used to have a guy that grew up in our hood. He actually signed to So Def a long time ago. When Jermaine Dupri had Crisscross, he had the Brat and stuff like that. His name Mr. Black, Altor Wise. And he can literally freestyle about everything. So that's what really sparked my attention for music, because it's like, man, this dude's so dope, man. He was on a couple of Jermaine Dupri albums and stuff like that. It didn't work out, but he was the spark that got me into music, being honest with you.
Okay. I like that. So who growing up was your favorite hip hop artist?
I can't say I have a favorite, but LL was it, because that's how I, transitioned a lot of my songs for the ladies, because LL, Nas was a thinker. I like his pen. Outkast was definitely that. Run DMC, Beastie Boys.
Mm-hmm.
My variety, man, it's just out there, man. I just like good quality music.
You said Beastie Boys, and when people hear Beastie Boys, they think, just silly comedy rap, but them dudes for their time could go. One of my favorite tracks they did was Paul Revere, because it told the story about they each meet each other, and the one is committing a robbery, and and so forth. If you listen to it, so that's real dope that you said Beastie Boys, because like people just look at them as like spoof comedy rap. Like, nah, they can go.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I think Beastie Boys was the Eminem before Eminem even happened. It was just fun. It seems like they just had fun with music, and I think that's what a lot of people was missing. They just want to put the business behind it without showing that music can be fun. So
that's
one thing I enjoyed about it.
And you bring me back to the 90s. Oh boy, in your opinion, which record label was pretty dominant in the 90s for hip hop? Because you had Death Row,
right?
Then you had Bad Boy,
right?
Let's not forget So Def,
right?
And for what it's worth, down south, from where I'm at, you had No Limit,
right? And honestly,
it all started with Def Jam either.
Right, and Def Jam was a trendsetter, but at the same time, every region wanted to have their record label. Mm-hmm. No Limit was it. The only issue I had was No Limit. They was just too consistent, right? They didn't give people enough chance to enjoy the artist. They'll drop an album every month of somebody different. Like, Mystical album could be booming. Next thing you know, you drop Mid-X. Like, yes, you looking for Mid-X, but at the same time, let the buzz from Mystical album die down just a little bit before you drop somebody else. I think they was just too consistent what they was doing, and people ain't have a chance to really enjoy stuff. So, but yeah, No Limit was definitely it. No Limit. Suave House was another one that a lot of people slept on. Death Row was another one. Death Row almost signed the Locks too. A lot of people don't understand that one. They almost signed the Locks before the East Coast West Coast crap went down. But
yeah, I did not know.
Yeah, that would have been major.
Oh yeah. You had mentioned Mystical. I don't want to say he's gimmicky, but as over the top as he is, Mystical is somebody else that's an animal on the microphone.
Well, absolutely. Yeah,
most definitely. And I think I told you this before, because I really enjoyed the Bad Boy record label, and it wasn't until like a few years later, it's like I stumbled across Mace on it was a YouTube video of Mace of him years back freestyling. I think I brought it to your attention. I was like, yo, Greg, it's like, I didn't know Mace could freestyle.
Yeah.
And that's when you had told me, yeah, Mace can freestyle. And a lot of the hits that you seen Bad Boy have was actually attributed to Mace's pen game as well.
Right.
So I'm glad of that. So you growing up in South Carolina.
Yeah.
You're into poetry.
Right.
Did the environment around you influence you to write? Or was it just something that you saw on TV like, I want to be like that?
Nah, it's just everything that was going on around me, man. And being honest with you, I moved from Columbia, South Carolina to Alabama when I was 15. And at the time, I ain't like it because now I'm moving to the country from the heart of the city. But I knew it was for the best because, well, I grew up wasn't easy, man. I say 70% of the people that I grew up with are either dead in jail or some of them actually made it out to where they're doing something with their life. So I'm glad I'm one of those people. But my pain came from actual what I saw, you know, what I've seen, the deaths I had to deal with, everything else. So poetry was that thing to put into place. And when I met Mr. Black, man, that's when the music got real for me. So.
Okay. So what you say was your first time? Well, first, before we get into that, so you are a graduate of a high school in Alabama?
Yes. I went to Dreher High School my 9th grade year in Columbia, South Carolina. Then I moved to a small town called Morven, Alabama, which probably got 300 people total. In Alabama, I went to Coffeyville High School, graduated there, spent my sophomore through my senior year there.
Okay. And then you said you did I remember you talking to you did a year of college?
Yep. I went to the University of South Alabama for a year. And then after doing that year, that's when I decided to join the good old United States Marine Corps.
There you go. So, and this is in what year?
I graduated 2001, joined the Marine Corps 2002.
So you graduated down south May of 2001. Flash
Yep.
forward, September 2001. September 11th happens.
Right.
Entire world just on standstill.
Right.
The United States is like on high alert. Several months later, going into 2002, you voluntarily enlisted into the United States Marine Corps.
Yeah, I kind of went in based on a bet, man, because it's funny because I was at home and I was trying to do, I had to do research on stock at the moment. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't get on Bloomberg to look at nothing. I couldn't see nothing on TV but 9/11, right? And then while I'm watching this, my brother hit me up. He was like, man, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. I was like, man, you ain't going to the Marine Corps, man. There's no way, because at the time we both got braids, his hair a lot longer than mine. So there's no way you're going to the Marine Corps. I was like, you show up to my door with a recruiter, I'll go with you. This fool showed up to my door like a week later with a fade and a recruiter. I was like, man, you got to be kidding me, man. Me, I'm a man of my word, man. I'm going to stand on anything that I say. I was like, all right, I'm down. You know, I got to get out of Alabama at this point anyway, man. I just want to see the world at this moment. So
right,
that's how that happened.
It's you know somebody's serious when they cut their braids and come to you with a fake. Like,
bro, I had the Omarion before Omarion had things, man.
2001,
so, yeah.
2002, man, people was getting Allen Iverson braided up between classes in school, man. It looked fresh. So I mean, oh yeah.
Man, and my sister braided my hair too, so I had it in the house braided. So
that's the best kind, man. You even got it like
boy. Boy, I had style. I had designs. Hey, I wish you had, bro.
There you go. Oh gosh. So, and I'll tell anybody this: between 2001 and I want to say about 2010,
right?
I'll push it even out to 2011. Was a completely different Marine Corps then than it is now.
Right.
When you first set foot on Paris Island,
right,
what through your mind?
Being honest with you, man, I want to try to keep it clean in this interview, but I was like, this some bullshit. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't know what I got into. And honestly, when I went there, I went with my hair still, man. You know, I had my fro, had my hair in a ponytail or whatever. And then I get in the chair. He was like, how you want it, young man? I was like, man, just go ahead, you know, give me a temp. temp this thing up real quick. You know, nice lineup. I was like, yeah, this is some bullshit. I ain't gonna like this at all. So my first impression of Paris Island wasn't the greatest.
I understand that, and that's in Beaufort, South Carolina. So how far is that from Columbia?
About 2 hours.
So it's still right in your backyard. Okay.
Yeah, it ain't bad at all.
All right. Now I know there's a lot of guys from up north, especially those that don't have melanin in their skin. Excuse me. Were passing out of heat exhaustion when I was in the summer of 2006. You didn't have any of those troubles. Who like, man, this is just too hot.
I know when it's hot outside not to lock your legs, man. You got to just, you know, if you're going to stand still, you know, bend your knees a little bit, man. And I just seen people drop like flies. And, you know, you in formation. You can't just look around like that. So you're kind of looking at the corner of your eye, watching people drop. And then, you know, getting a hotel a silver bullet. You're like, man, there's no way in hell I'm getting that thing.
Oh, like, so, I ain't going to lie to you. You're supposed to maintain your bearing. But, and I don't wish heat exhaustion upon anybody. However, after you've been told like 20 times as a grown man, don't do this, and you still do this, and you face plant, yeah, in my mind, I'm rolling. I'm rolling. Like, you play stupid games, win stupid games.
I damn near died a few times, man. A few times. And looking at the corner of your eye and just seeing people drop, I was like, man, I'm like, is they going to get the silver bullet right here on the spot, or they going to drag these mugs off somewhere and then plunge them? But I definitely wouldn't be one of them cats at all.
We had one drill instructor, like somebody was went down. He definitely got the silver bullet. He was like, hey, for what it's worth, he said, you may not be into it, but he said, somebody about to get the silver bullet. He said, I'm not saying this. He said, this might be the only porn you see for a while. So I was like,
oh man, that's classic though, man.
Told him. So
you got him.
Yeah, got him. But you graduate Paris Island,
right?
You're now going towards the fleet,
right?
The United States is right in the middle of OIF and getting ready to kick off OEF,
right?
And if I'm not mistaken, you are a engineer.
Correct.
Okay. What was that like for you? Because engineers are normally right out there with the grunts.
Man, you hit the nail on the head, which sucks, man, because I graduated MOS school in December, like early December. It had to be like the second week. And I go out to the fleet, and I just get out to the unit. My first unit, second CEB, man, combat engineers. So I'm like, yeah, I'm loving it. You know, I like the leadership and everything. I mean, everything is cool at this point, right? So, you know, as soon as I get there, they wanted to start doing gear inspections, everything else in between. It was like, yeah, we're on the list. We're going. That's like, but we ain't going to go into like March or something like that. But make sure you have your gear ready, man. Here it is, like the beginning of February, man. They come bang on the door like 2 o'clock in the morning. Get your shit. It's time to go. I'm like, go well, man. I'm like, got eye boogers and stuff I'm trying to clean. I'm like, go well. Go to the armory like 2 o'clock in the morning, bro, to ship out for RF1. And when I get there, while we're in Kuwait, I'm still with second CEB, but then we get detached to second LAR. Second LAR, a bunch of cowboys, man. They would shoot anything that sneezed wrong. I was like, I ain't signed up for this. But at the end of the day, it's not nothing I haven't seen before. But at the same time, now I'm just armed to defend myself the way I need to. But I've always been with grunt units, man, since day one. Second CEB, second LAR, recon, small craft company, second A battalion. So
I was on deployment with each and every one of those units you named, and you're right.
Yeah.
Second LAR thinking Afghanistan is the OK Corral or like Yosemite Sam, man. Them boys packing.
Bro, wild west out there.
This was 0 F's given before it was 0 F's given with second LAR.
And they think just because we got extra bullets, we just gonna use them, bro.
Yeah.
But it's not like they just shot anything or anyone. But at the same time, you know, as soon as they got that green light to go ahead and cap off, they did.
Oh, yeah. It was done. So now your whole time in the Marine Corps was not, you know, bang, bang, shoot 'em up.
No, not at all.
You know, producing some of your sounds, some of your music, some of your CDs. And
right.
I remember talking to you, you used to sell CDs, and I know we telling our age, CDs
right.
at the barracks.
Right.
Much like Luda was selling CDs at the trunk of his car.
Right.
Also, something else you told me, and you and I agreed upon this. out of Atlanta, I remember you saying this period, Luda does not get the respect he deserves as an MC.
Oh, no, not at all.
The time.
No, not at all. I think Luda was ahead of his time because, you know, it's almost like Ludacris, and I like Eminem, and that's why I keep referring to him, but Ludacris was almost like the Eminem of the South because what Eminem did was give you that commercial rap, sort of say, but then when you hear that album, you hear actual bars, you know, you got the lyrics behind it, you got the story to tell. And Luda was the same exact way, but I don't think people took Luda serious, like, and they know he's a great artist, but I don't think he got the recognition that he deserved at that time.
Exactly.
Because they felt like his videos are playful. All he do is, you know, his music is playful and stuff like that. But then when you buy a Ludacris album, you hear the layers of his music. So
Exactly. Now, and again, for those of you that's younger and listening, burning CDs back in the day was a legit hustle where people was making like maybe $200, $300, $400 a week, making CDs for people, burning CDs.
Right.
I mean, I'm not sure which site people would use. You can risk your computer having AIDS by going to LimeWire, but I mean, burning a CD back in the day was a legit hustle.
Right.
So you were burning or making beats and hell, making an album out of the barracks. How did you come about doing that?
Well, I got up with a producer that was in Jacksonville because this is after, like, I literally did 3 deployments in my first 4 years, right? And I found out that I tore my Achilles my last deployment. So when I got back, I was pretty much shut down. Well, I re-enlist before finding out I tore my Achilles, which is a good thing because I pretty much probably wouldn't even got that chance to. So my final 4 years has just pretty much been a sit thing. So that's when I took the music more serious at that point. So I got up with Intone. Me and Intone been rocking for decades now.
Yeah.
So when I got up with Intone, he was just a producer, but he had a studio in his apartment. So I was like, man, I need to get my music out, man. And we pretty much like night and day grinding, man, just to get that first album out. And I dropped my first one, you know, the Fast Lane in 2006.
Okay. Wow, I had just enlisted or just graduated high school in 2006. So the climate of you during that time in Jacksonville, North Carolina, and all over, selling CDs out the barracks, because also this is during the time where I'll say this much, in that area, it seemed like every corner you turn around, there was like an individual car club, like it was like a turf war, damn it. Everybody was in their own damn car club back in the day, if you remember that.
Right. Yeah.
How was it just on the streets grinding, putting your music out there by selling the CDs at the trunk of your car or out the barracks, or just having it on you to promote yourself? Because marketing and promotion has a lot to do sometimes whether an artist succeeds or fails.
Right. So me, I try to think of ways to promote myself. What it started out as is that I record like maybe 30 songs, right? And then I would get like a group of people to sit down and tell me what their favorite 3 songs was out of that 30. And then I would just put together demos. So I drive out, and at this time I had my Galant sitting on 20s, you know, with the custom box in there, and my Memphis 12s in there and stuff. And I go out to the mall, and I would play my 3 songs over and over sitting out the trunk of my car. And I would just hand out demos to people that's going into the mall. And people pass by like, man, what's that? That sound dope. I was like, that's me. Here's a demo. I get those away for free just to get my buzz out there. And then after that, go back and figure out what 12 songs do I want to put out for the CD. And then after that, that's when my name is buzzing a little bit. I can start selling the actual album itself. They know the 3 songs from the demo. Now, people at that time, car club, they're blasting music too. So people starting like, what is that? What is that? Who is that? That's dope as hell. Now, with the business cards and stuff like that, I mean, that's going to promote itself. So.
Exactly. Okay. So,
yeah.
All right. So good. So your experience of being on the ground grinding,
right,
and just boots on deck, feet to the street. You know, hey, here's my album, so forth. Actually, putting some work behind your work.
Right.
Your name starts to get the buzzing.
Right.
Did this open doors for you to start performing on stage?
Yeah, honestly, what it was, being real with you, man. Sometimes, we got 96s and stuff like that, 72s. I would just go to like major cities, Wilmington, Raleigh, even DC, Atlanta. I would take advantage of that and just go down there and do the same thing I was doing in Jacksonville, because I didn't want to be known as a local artist. I want to be known as an independent artist, but not a local artist, because I just didn't want. I felt like if I'm gonna spend time and money in my craft, hell, I'm gonna actually try to make that money back somehow.
Okay.
So I would hit these major cities and just, do the same method that I was doing in Jacksonville, just on a large scale. So
Most definitely. Most definitely. Now, let's flash forward. When did you actually exit out the Marine Corps?
2009, November the 12th to be exact.
There you go. Okay. You got the Marine Corps,
Right.
and you start to share stages with well-known artists.
Right.
I've seen pictures with you with Mike Epps, Machine Gun Kelly. You've told
Right.
a story about how you shared the stage, or you came across and met Loon.
Yeah.
Being around those people of that caliber, what did that do to your grind and your hustle?
Just lets me sit back and see how they conduct business. If people know me in person, like my personal people, they know that I can be pretty comical in person. But if you just now meeting me, I'm gonna sit back and observe everything. I like to look, watch, listen, and see how people move. That way I can either take notes from it or say I don't want to move that way. Like being on stage with certain people. Like I remember when doing the shows with Machine Gun Kelly and Tech Nine at the same time. The weirdest combination I ever seen on tour of my life. Tech Nine don't drink, he don't do all this partying stuff, and Machine Gun Kelly's the complete opposite, right? But it worked. It worked because when you bring those two crowds together, then it actually looks dope in person. So, just seeing what type of people to be around, what makes sense. I think it's just more than just being on stage with these people.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. So 2006, you dropped your first album, The Fast Lane.
Right.
2009, is this about your second album or?
Street Scholar dropped in like 2007. Then I had Watch Me Do This. I literally dropped the album after every year after that. 2006 was Fast Lane. 2007 was Street Scholar. 2008, Watch Me Do This. 2009, I dropped No Chaser. 2010, I dropped the mixtape, the Street Mix, and it's pretty much me taking industry songs and just throwing a verse on it. Like Usher, Hey Daddy, and Fat Joe's tracks and Drake's tracks and Luda's tracks, and just throwing my own verse on it, just to show that lyrically I can hang with big dogs if you put me on a song with them. So
I'm glad you said that. You had mentioned mixtapes. I had said this, and I'll stand by it to this day. I think one of the best mixtapes I've ever heard was Lil Wayne's Dedication 2.
Right. Dedication 2 was dope. Dope as hell.
I blasted that seemed like every day in the summer of 2007. Like one of those things, one of those albums to where like if he were to top that, it'll be tough to do it, but I can only see him doing it. If that makes sense.
Right.
Because I remember for a while, for some years, mixtapes were a huge thing. You would get the Gucci mixtapes and the Jeezy mixtapes, and you would get DJ Drama on mixtapes. So for a while,
right.
having a mixtape was something to get people thirsty for the actual album that's coming out.
Absolutely.
Hell, sometimes the mixtape will be bigger than the album itself.
I agree with that as well.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's how Nicki Minaj started. Her mixtape was actually better or bigger than her actual album.
Drake too.
Drake, yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I heard Drake's mixtape, I'm like, yo, who is this dude? Like, and then the album came out, so I was like, so wait a minute, this is just a warm up. I thought that was his actual album, but hey, Drake, and we're about to get into this too. What you think the state of hip hop? Drake is one of the last artists that has been consistent for the past 10 years.
Right. I agree with that 100%. A lot of people don't like Drake the way he moved or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you got to understand, like when it comes to promo, when it comes to marketing, Drake's a genius, man. You know, when you can throw Drake on the album and track, and he can sing or rap that track in Spanish, or he can cross over with certain artists from different genres. You know, that's where you become a tool for the industry. You're not disposable at that point because you're not stuck in this one lane, this one box. Like, he can reach out to anybody and just do a track with him.
Yeah.
A lot of artists can't do that.
You're right. And, you know, to say this, to go from being a child actor on a TV show.
Right.
You know, a lot of, you know, for some reason, excuse me, a lot of times people that are actors and actresses, they want to put an album out and it's like, yeah, you know, but to come from being a child actor,
right?
Then, like you say, I'm gonna get in the mic, and he was like, okay, you know, you rapped on your TV show, but that's not really you. But then you actually get in the mic and show everybody that you're a monster on the mic.
Right.
That's saying something. The longevity of it all.
Exactly. And a lot of people, you know, Drake created his own way of moving. And I think, shout out to Wayne for allowing him to move the way he really wanted to move. And one thing I like about this new generation is the baby. The baby moved the way he wanted to move too. And it's working for him right now. And I hope John get the longevity that he needs as far as his career as well. Shout out to him, Carolina own. So I hope he get the longevity he wants, but he got full creativity of what he's doing right now, which is working for him. I think if you get with a label that give you that, I mean, sky's the limit, man. As long as you know how to market and move, and your grind is 25/8. So,
exactly. Now, you mentioned today's generation when it comes to hip hop. So, what do you honestly think of like this generation of hip hop or rap artists? Because you've gotten legends in this industry. Kid and Play said everybody sounds the same.
They do
differentiate. Nas has came out and said, "I'm not impressed." Everyone sounding the same. Even people, hip hop connoisseurs like Ari Spears, everybody is sounding the same.
Right.
You know, back in the day, you can tell the start of a Naughty by Nature track.
Right.
You can tell the start of a Tribe Called Quest. You knew when a Biggie album was coming up. You knew when a Pac album was coming up. You knew that smooth Merlot sound of Snoop Dogg. But now, everybody's sounding the same.
Right. I think what it is that everybody they're scared to be different. You know, they feel like what works for somebody might work for them. And I'm going to use the Migos, for example. The Migos came out with a style, and then next thing you know, you hear 30 artists that's trying to sound like Migos. Or T-Pain came out with a style, and then you hear 30 people trying to sound like T-Pain. But the thing is, he will feel like if that's the way the industry wanted, I need to move like that. And that's not how it is, because if you take the industry back in the day, people wanted to move however they wanted to move and didn't care who liked it or not. If people accepted, fine. You know, they wasn't going to change everything. People looked at Andre 3000 like he was just the weirdest thing ever at one point, because the way he dressed, the way, you know, his lyrics he's lyrical, but he's still considered down south. But Andre 3000, one of the best lyricists that ever lived.
You took it out of my mouth. Like, Andre 3000 is not somebody to be played with on a microphone. Like, this dude's a lyrical genius. Like, really.
Yeah, I think what people don't do, they don't think about the longevity of their career. They think about what's going to get their foot in the door and what's working at the moment. They don't try to think 10 steps ahead to see what's going to be good then. Like, when I came out my career, I was like, I want to take a mixture of everybody that I enjoy that's been like very successful and put it all in one. LL, he can, you know, cater to the women. I want to do that. Nas, he can sit there and tell a story. I want to do that. You know, you look at Bad Boy, Puffy wanted to put out commercial hits and then give you that lyrical side once you actually buy the album. I wanted to do that. So I wanted to take things that actually work for people for a very long time and try to implement that along with what I do best.
That makes sense.
I think people got away from that.
Yeah, and this is another good question. Do you think nowadays things are just too instantaneous? People want that overnight success and not actually putting the work. You know, right now anybody with a microphone, laptop, or smartphone can spit out 16 bars and expect to get a night sensation. Like, okay, you know, that's great. You have a talent, but how are we going to market that? Where are we going from here? What are we going to do? It's like they're afraid of the work. You know, everybody want to be successful. Nobody want to do the work.
Everybody want to be famous. Nobody want to work hard for it. Absolutely. And that's what it boiled down to, man. Everybody, they, just like I said, they're thinking to the now. They don't think like, let me take a step back. Let me see the steps that I can do. Let me make a checklist. Let me say, I can do this now, check. How is that going to lead to the next mark? They're not doing that. So once they get that one check, then they going back to the drawing board, like, what's next? I think you need to plan out at least 5 to 7 steps ahead and check them off as you go. Because without that actual, plan set in place, you're just going to be stuck on that one check for a very long time, doing the same exact thing, getting the same exact results.
Correct. And I know when people say you can't compare hip hop from back in the day to hip hop now because that's 2 different generations or 2 different styles. But, in this particular genre of music, we're the only ones that can say you can't do that because it's 2 different styles. I mean, Aerosmith has been Aerosmith for I don't know how many damn years.
Right.
And cannot deny the fact that they are legendary.
Right.
Obviously they've been around for so long. But it always seems to be like this don't count in hip hop. When it do, man. It has to, you gotta keep up, you gotta keep the culture relevant. Because even right now, I'm like, okay, this is all starting to sound the same. And maybe it's a generational thing, like, because, I'm talking to my teenage boys, they was like, who was it? I think they said Lil Uzi Vert or Travis Scott. They speak about real life, things that happen in real life because it's real. I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? I said, and I get kind of mad with them. I said, your mom, your grandparents and your biological father are from New York City, the Bronx. I said, you of all people, teenagers should know better. Like, I don't get it. Like, I don't.
I think what it boiled down to, man, it's like back in the day when I put in the cities, I have a mood to listen to something, right? And it's not even the type of person. Like, one day I can just want to listen to nothing but get crunk stuff. So I'm popping Lil Jon in. One day I want to mellow out. I want to listen to actual, like, some storytelling. So I put Outkast in or Slick Rick or Nas or something like that. Next minute, I wanted to listen to something comical with still lyrics. I pop in some Eminem or something like that. Or the Beastie Boys. I don't have that option right now. I don't say, let me pop in something and then have the option to pop in something new from the new generation, and just say, it sounds different. All of it just sounds the same to me, man. It just, everybody want to say, this person is doing this and it's working for them. Let me try to do that. Well, everybody think that, rapping is a fad or something like that. So they just want to sound like the next person to try to get the same buzz or notoriety that they're getting. And don't work like that. Get your own lane, market your own thing, do your own.
Right. And, speaking of sounding the same and sounding different and staying in the lane, I want to divvy off into diversity when it comes to hip hop, with your female hip hop artists. Right now, there's no denying that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion are hot.
Right.
I guess you can say commercially, mainstream hot.
Right.
Go back 10 years ago, there was no denying that Nicki Minaj was running the game.
Right.
I guess before that, it was Lil Kim.
Right.
I don't want to say it's very hard as a female artist, a female rap artist, to be known or get out there. But do you think that sometimes that when they, especially with a female artist, they almost come off manufactured?
I agree. And a lot of times, and I'm not going to say it's based on the female itself, because like a lot of those female artists are just lyrically, they're dope, man. But it's perception is reality, man. And a lot of people only want to get the attention of a woman to listen to what they got to say based on how they look. So the market that, a lot of record labels, they can like sex sells. Let's put your image out there first, and then maybe that's going to draw them into what you got to say. Right. One person that I feel like is so underrated, man, and it pisses me off to my core, Snow the Product, man.
You took the words right out my mouth.
Snow is by far, I met Snow, man, back when, back through the Tech 9 ordeal. Snow was so damn dope, man. Like, lyrically, she is top 3 females lyrically right now. Honestly, I would even say top 1. I don't know one female right now lyrically that can beat Snow the Product.
I said this a couple of weeks ago. It's a sin and a shame this woman is on the major record label.
And the thing is, because she's not putting off this image of, I gotta put the way I look out there first. She's her own person. She'll wear baggy clothes. She got a colorful hair. She's a beautiful woman, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, she's not putting it out there like I gotta be overly sexy in order to get your attention. I want my music to speak for itself.
And I'm gonna say this much because I haven't watched an award show in some years.
Right.
If everything's gonna go back to normal, Snow the Product needs to be on the next BET Awards cypher. She can hang with both men and women. Bottom line.
I agree, 100%, 100%. And don't just put it like a female cypher. Put her in there with the dudes, man.
She can hang.
Let her sit down. I told myself, if I ever saw a cypher, man, and one cypher that I would put together if I saw it for myself was Lupe Fiasco. I want to see Big Crit in one. I want to see Snow the Product in one. I just want to see like a bunch of lyrical people. Royce the 5'9". I want to see, if I had my own cypher, I would put them all in one and just listen to lyrics, man. Probably jump on my couch based on the wordplay itself.
Dude, you know what?
That is music, man.
You're right, because I had said somebody else that I don't think like gets the spotlight like he should. Yes, he has good commercials, but Big Sean is a hell of an artist when it comes to
Big Sean is one hell of underrated, man. So underrated. His wordplay, lyrics, scheme, yes. the way he rap is just so underrated. And I think it's because of the way he's being promoted. I don't know. I can't say, but I don't think he's getting pushed the way he should. And maybe it's because of the era that he's trying to move in right now. But Big Sean, Big Crit, like them guys are just they are animals, man.
If Big Sean, to be honest with you, right dude, probably the wrong era. Because I could have easily said, you know what, Big Sean could have hung in there with Kanye West and Jay-Z back in that Rockefeller area, like 2004 to 2007 area. Like, without a doubt, like, there's not been one track I've heard Big Sean be on to where he did not kill it. That Detroit versus everybody, I'll put his bars over Eminem.
Man.
And they had Royce the 5'9". Gosh, I forgot her name. It's at the tip of my tongue. She's from Detroit. Damn it, it'll come to me later. She was in Empire. She made an episode of Empire. Little tiny thing with finger waves in the hair.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Her, Eminem, and Sleepy Brown, but it was all the Detroit rappers in there, and I think Big Sean, had one of the best lyrics in there.
Hands down, man. He don't get enough respect, man. I listen to a lot of DJ Khaled albums just to hit a diversity on each song. Big Sean have not dropped the ball on any verse that he put on DJ Khaled, and by far you can't say that he don't have like probably the best verse on any song that he put on there with anybody on that. So, I mean, shout out to underrated artists, man, that's still pushing, that's still being true to them, that's not switching up, that understand that it's still hip-hop heads like myself that still want to hear that, man, for real.
Now, I'm noticing the sweater you're wearing, I Grind.
Yes, sir.
You're the CEO of I Grind.
Yes, sir.
What did that come about?
It's just me, man. It's, when people think in the back of their head that, hope is all lost, you got to understand there's a reason that you grind. There's a reason people make money. You just got to understand the reason for that and just keep doing it, man. I've always grind 25/8. I got a family. I got a wife. I got kids. And I don't want them to see anything less but a grind, because when they get on their own, I want them to do the same exact thing. So.
Right. And you used to always say something that I even use to this day when it comes to me working, and I own a business, and I've said this before, and I think you've agreed to it. Working for yourself and pushing your brand is gonna be one of the hardest damn things you ever do.
It is, because a lot of people are doing it just because a lot of people think it's a fad, man, because some people are doing it just because everybody's doing it. But if you don't believe in your brand, and like me, it's always just like I said, that checklist, man. You got to have those layers. You got to have those different steps that you want to do. Start off with T-shirts and hoodies, man. And then, the next step is to actual, like, have different logos, put it on polos. I literally got a polo Ralph Lauren in there, a customized I Grind Ralph Lauren polo right now. that I'm trying to sit in. I got the prototype in there, but I'm trying to sit in, branch off to where I make this as a legit thing, making I grind hoodies and shirts and stuff through Polo. So
You used
I'm
to
always thinking about the next step, man.
Right. Yeah. It is always best to think 2 or 3 steps ahead. And you used to always say something that I still use to this day. My pockets are yours, and I guarantee you mine are going to win.
Mine would definitely win. And the reason why I say that, because, I'm not going to take food out of my family's mouth, man. And at the end of the day, I'm always going to think of a money scheme in order to make money, not right now, but longevity. So,
right.
Legit hustles is where it's at.
And one thing I don't like doing is wasting time and money.
Right.
Most of the time, money you can eventually get back, but that time is something I can't get back. I do not like wasting time.
Yeah, time is money, man. A lot of people sit there and look at it like life is a lesson in its own. But when you lose time, when you can be doing something, being profitable, learning something, whatever the case may be, when you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs and you letting time go by, next thing you know, you blink and you're like, damn, what did I do with that time? Absolutely nothing. I ain't make no money. I ain't learned nothing. I ain't do nothing. And it's a testament. Just if you got kids, just look at your kids. You see how fast time go by when you got kids.
Most definitely. And
so just think of life like that too. Like, what can you do? How can you make money? How can you learn? How can you be a better you with the time that you have?
Yeah, I tell one of my teenage boys, man, like they were saying, oh, they want to do this on YouTube, So what I did was I gave them an old camera. I said, this is what you need to do. I said, go look at on YouTube how to edit videos through Adobe Premiere. Once you watch that video, come to me and I'm gonna show you how to edit in person. I said, because you got a cell phone in your hand, you want to do Twitch streaming and edit videos, you want to make your own money through YouTube, go for it. But here's the tools you need to do it. I at a certain age, that's when I stopped just giving money for the hell of it. You're gonna earn, you're gonna work and grind. Like,
absolutely.
Everybody's walking around with a smartphone in their hand, a computer in their hand. So there's no such thing as, I don't want to say, there's almost no such thing as I don't know. You can find out.
Mm-hmm.
There's no such thing as like I can't. Like, people literally earn master's degrees in their pajamas. So yeah, the day of a hustle is right in front of you. You don't have to sometimes beat the pavement to do that. People literally make millions behind a laptop, like I'm doing now. Like you're doing.
People just. We're still in a world where people just want things given to them, man. Hard work is one of those things where it's a mental block. People want things, but they don't want to go out there. They don't want to think of a way to actually get it. They want it handed to them. Right. The next thing you know, when people just stop handing you stuff, you just stuck with no trade, no knowledge, no nothing. Now you got to get it on your own. It's pretty much too late, man. My kids come to me and say, if they ask me a question about anything, look it up. Look it up, come back to me in about 30 minutes and tell me what you found. And then if you haven't found anything and you legit try, then I'm going to show you how to look it up. But, you got to give people the tools that they need in order for them to do it themselves, man.
Yeah, all my kids have a savings account because, I think what needs to be taught is the difference between being rich and wealthy. Generational wealth is, I think, what we need to push with our children going forth, and that's something I've known you for years that you've always pushed, generational wealth, saving your money and so forth. Like, it's just, you and your buddies, your friends got $300 Jordans on, but what is he gonna have the next 10 years? Savings account. Does your homeboy have a savings account? These are things I try to teach.
Yeah, my kids, man, all my kids got accounts. And being honest with you, I think like my oldest, I call him my struggle kid because he came up with me when we was just going through the struggle and stuff like that. Like the transition in him, it shows because he don't want to spend his money on nothing. And this boy is loaded in his savings account. It's just money from that he made from doing odd end jobs, helping out a soccer team, painting fields, or whatever jobs he can do to make money, saving his allowance. This boy 14 want to buy his own vehicle right now. I've never heard of nothing like that. And the thing is, when he's saving his money, he don't want to eat out. He want to eat at home. He's pretty much ahead of his time. And that's the way I think people should raise their kids instead of just giving them stuff,
Yeah.
Because now time goes by, like we said. 18 years old, they trying to go out there and live their own life. And now you still, like, they got their hands in there, their head on fire. They can't do nothing for themselves because they've been pampered ever since they've been babies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely.
So these kids make these kids be responsible for themselves, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be your parent until you get 18, and then I'm gonna actually push you out and see if you actually can utilize everything that we showed you.
Yeah, and I've always said it. I've said it on all my social media platforms. Accountability is a son of a gun.
It is. It is.
That's a hell of a word nobody like to mention. When you gotta look at that son of a gun in the mirror and be like, okay, just maybe, I'm responsible for this.
Mm-hmm.
Did happen, did not happen, did happen, but didn't happen correctly.
Right.
And I'm glad you mentioned this generation, because it's going around like a bad virus. And I'm not talking about COVID-19. This counter culture, where everything seems to be offensive. And I'm questioning, were we too insensitive back then, or people too sensitive now? I mean, like, we're canceling fictional characters. Pepe Le Pew.
I just think people just being so sensitive now. I think just people want a reason to put their finger on something and say, I was a part of that. For example, I was looking at the news up here, and the lady literally called, she called the cops at a McDonald's drive-thru because they ran out of, like, sweet and sour sauce or something like that. Like, are you kidding me, yo? Are you kidding me? Like, and talking about, they want to ban Mr. Potato Head because, are you kidding me? Don't you know there's still a Miss Potato Head out there?
Oh, and yeah, like, if I'm not mistaken, as a kid, couldn't you change his face from, like, male to female already? Like,
already can do that. People just want a reason to put their finger on something to say either I made a change or I want to complain about something. Like, I don't understand it now. I think people being a little bit too sensitive. I don't think we was being insensitive back then. It's just that people thought, like, it ain't that serious back then. Right now, people just sitting at home. They ain't got nothing but time on their hands.
Yeah.
Some people ain't got jobs, pandemic. I understand it happens. But they probably got too much time on their hands just sitting back and like, how can I complain about something?
You know what? I think, I just came up with a money scheme, bro. Like, you and I should go out and sue, like, Hasbro, because, like, for G.I. Joe, because I joined and my arms are never that big, bro. So they lied to me. Like, we should go out and
They lied to us, man.
Bro, my arms are pretty big, man.
Like they got these rock-looking figures and stuff like that. And here we are looking like olive oil and stuff.
Yeah, man, I came out with a bad back and stuff like this. This dude, I seen him Saturday morning survive explosions and whatnot. Like, they lied to me, bro.
Bro.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Like, counterculture, this got to stop, man. Like,
it got to, man.
Could you imagine if, like, Richard Pryor, Andrew Dice Clay, Red Fox was still around now?
Man, even Archie Bunker, boy, Archie would have a field day with this doggone generation, man. Like, and honestly, a lot of people didn't like Archie, thought he was racist, man. I thought Archie was one of the funniest guys ever, man. Yes, I loved Archie, man.
He and Al Bundy didn't give zero either. Archie, Al Bundy,
zero.
Like, play around, bro. Like, Archie Bunker called his own son-in-law, like, basically retarded, a meathead.
Yeah, pretty much. He didn't care who he offended, but I think, the greats would have a field day with what's going on in this generation now, man, because I don't think enough. I think a lot of comedians are afraid to address it right now because they don't want to say the wrong thing because they know whatever you say, it's going to offend somebody. And I think greats back then, like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, they would just go ahead and say it, man. Mm-hmm. No matter who they offend, they're going to make somebody happy, no matter who it is. I can offend this 30%, but this 70% going to love the hell out of me. So I'm going to go ahead and say what I got to say.
I mean, that we're not even complaining about, but these are fictional characters. Like I was like, when I saw Looney Tunes, Lola Bunny, why is Lola Bunny being canceled? Like, I thought about it, for what?
And it's weird, man, because the same people that's probably doing this. It's not, I guarantee it's not younger people that's doing this. It's probably these, older people that have the same time. They just want to complain about something, being honest with you. And the same characters that was around when you was in your 20s, the same characters that's there right now when you in your 30s and 40s. So why are you complaining about it now?
Bro,
the same, even if you're a younger generation, the same toys that you played with probably when you was a kid, it's the same toy that you disputing right now in your 20s. It makes no sense to me, man. I think people just want a reason to complain about something to say I had a voice in something.
This is ridiculous. And it's not even I don't know, bro. Like I said, I think, and as silly as it is, bro, like if you remember the movie Demolition Man, they kind of warned us about this. Like the things we had like back in the 90s and early 2000s was relics now. You couldn't curse or you get fined. You know, Taco Bell took over everything, which I'm, you know, on my cheat days, I ain't mad at Taco Bell, but I mean, like, but for real, like, are you serious?
Yeah. That was a classic right there.
Demolition Man, they warned us, like, hey, this is about to happen, bro.
Yeah, they I'm telling you, I'm about to go back and watch every Simpson episode from season 1, episode 1 to current. And I was like, man, they better drop some gems in that thing, man. I got to learn something, see what's about to happen next. And see when this next stimmy about to come after this
exactly,
or
something. Bro. Real talk, my thing now is collecting DVDs. I got the entire season of Martin in my closet.
I do too, right now.
Yes, that's not to be watched. I got all the Rockies in there in my closet too. That's not to be touched. But you're right. You know what? When this steamy hit, I think I am going to go buy all the Simpsons. Like,
I need to find some stuff. I'm going to do homework, some research. I'm going to have a pen and pad, and I'm jotting.
They keep saying old boy was a time traveler. Like, for real, for real.
National treasure, boy. I'm telling you. Simpson episodes, national treasure right there.
It is, man. It is. So, with cancel culture, bro, do you think it's going to get better when people wake up and be like, okay, this is getting stupid? America is looking like the ghetto right now. Or do you think it's going to get worse?
No, honestly, I think the only way it get better if the pandemic goes away, which I don't think is going to completely go away, but it's slowly getting in the right direction. I heard y'all sit there and did to where y'all ain't got to wear masks no more down there in Texas. That's right.
It's not mandated, but I just wouldn't get a fresh cut today. I took your advice. I cut that hair. I stopped the Fred Douglas thing. I'm not going to
you definitely look like Fred Douglass over there.
I'm not going to try to Jerry curl my hair no more. So, yeah. But here in Texas, it's not mandated, but some people can still say, hey, you know, go and keep your mask on. So it's not going to be things that you're going to get denied services. But Texas doesn't listen anyway, man. Since I've been in Texas in August, I realized it's God's country, is God, country, and football. No, God, guns, and football in that order. Because in Texas, something doesn't go their way, they'll threaten to secede every day.
I think that's what it boiled down to, man, is that we slowly moving in the right direction. And I think once everybody get to the point to where they can go back to being normal, everybody working, I think it'll slowly go away. But I think people just got too much time in their hands right now to where, you know, they want to be heard. You know, somebody just sitting in the house all day, ain't got no friends, can't talk to nobody because some people at work or whatever the case may be, kids at school, they just ain't got nothing to do but to complain about something. They want to be heard from somebody. And I think that's what it boils down to.
You know, and I was talking to a friend of mine back in Carolina, man. She was a dancer there when I was like a bouncer. And you, as we said before, back in the day, on the weekends, man, Marines would tear the clubs up, be it the bars, the restaurants, the strip clubs, whatever else. She was saying that nowadays the average young guy, young fella, young lady, whomever else, would rather sit at home behind the computer on the game versus being out interacting. Do you think this is playing a part as to where, hey, you kind of like sheltering yourself from actual reality? So when you step out in this real world, you see something, you don't know how to take it. And now you want to go and cancel it versus you just saying, I disagree and move on. I'm not saying we should let heinous crimes go by. Not at all. But something offensive to you, stay away from, speak your mind and stay away from it.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is, man. It's just that people can't accept other people's opinion. Like, if someone got their opinion about something, I hear it out. Even if I don't agree with it, I just keep moving because especially if it don't affect me. Mm-hmm. If it don't affect me, I'm not going to sit there and entertain it. I think that's what it just boiled down to, man. It's just people want to speak up on so much stuff, but a lot of people ain't got a solution on how to fix real life stuff. They want to complain about the small stuff. Like, it goes back, Mr. Potato Head, man, come on now. Like, how is that going to sit there? Like, when was the last time the person that probably complained about Mr. Potato Head probably ain't purchased one in probably 20 years?
Bro, like, we look like, and I'm going to say it, man, this is going on the tube, but, man, we look like a bunch of ass clowns to the rest of the world, bro.
I agree with that.
Like,
I agree with that.
Like, how silly and stupid you got to be that you complain about fictional characters. As a creative thinker, what I would have done with Pepe Le Pew, okay, he can't chase the girls no more. So I'm going to have him a wife. He going to be settled down. He giving up his player ways. That's all you had to do. He's a fictional character.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it, man. It's just people gonna, I think they just got too much time on their hands, being honest with you, man. Got too much damn time on their hands. They want to complain about something because they ain't got nobody else to talk to.
Haters. Didn't Cat Williams speak on haters about some years ago? We are literally hating on a French fry right now.
And you know what it boiled down to is pretty much social media too, because a lot of people got so much time on their hand. The first thing they want to do, they want to take to social media because they know social media is one of those things that people either going to interact with you or they're gonna interact with you somehow. If it's in a positive light or if it's in a negative light, if you put a post on there, they're gonna either enjoy it or you're gonna start something from it. And I think that's what people got too much time on their hands right now because of the pandemic. So
you know what?
I think it's slowly, once we get back to normal, you'll see people getting out of their sensitive ways. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I mean, that shows what, when your mind becomes idle, it just does stupid stuff, bro. I would hate to see what would happen if these same people were around when MTV had Spring Break or BET had Spring Bling. I mean, damn, like, you think that's
or Raw and Uncut.
What? Back in the day of Girls Going Wild, I mean, man.
Boy.
That was OnlyFans before it was OnlyFans, Girls Going Wild.
Boy.
With Uncle Joe. It wasn't Uncle Joe.
Cancun, boy.
Boy, you ain't never lying. No. You probably familiar with this bike week, Myrtle Beach.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I went down there twice. First year was straight. Second year I went down there. That's when Eve first came out, right? So Eve and the Rough Riders down there, they was doing their thing. Good time. I seen a guy pop a wheelie, man, on a bike, cracked his head on the fire hydrant, died on the spot, bro. It changed the way I looked at bike week after that, man.
First time I went to bike week, I was Memorial Day weekend, 2007. I never forget this, bro. Like, I was on duty. The Lance Cooley's on duty. And, Ashley, you on duty. I'm like, okay. And no, I had duty the next day. So I'm just sitting in the barracks room, like, chilling, and got my DVD players, watching house party, one of those house parties. And one of the corporals came by. He was like, man, we chilling. You know what else? He said, bro, I wanted to go to bike week. I was like, yeah, I never been, but like Myrtle Beach is like 6 hours away. He said, 6 hours where? I was like, ain't that how far Myrtle Beach is? I was like, that's somebody told me.
Nah,
he was like,
2 hours, bro.
He said, they told you that because they ain't want the Lance Cooley going to give something stupid. I was like, so what's up? He's like, you tell me what's up. I'm like, well, I can get dressed in 10 minutes. He said, I'll meet you at the car. And we went out to South Carolina that night with camcorder in hand. And at 19 years old, I probably was exposed to some shit. Like I probably never should have been exposed to at 19, but yeah.
Oh, man.
Bike week was on point.
Honestly, man, it has its good parts, man. I like North Myrtle Beach more than anything. I like that they got seafood places everywhere down there.
Oh. They were
Baywatch Hotel is my favorite hotel to stay at down there.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the Baywatch Hotel. But, after that pretty much like I was like, sheesh. When you go down there, you see bikes, you see cars, and just every time I see somebody on the bike, I'm like, man, somebody gonna die today. Somebody gonna die today. That took me away from actually buying one because I wanted to buy one at the time. So I saw that. I was like, I can't do it. For one, people don't respect people on bikes on the road. And to see this man sit there and die like on the spot from that thing, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from bikes. I think my next venture is get back into rollerblading and see if I can still hang on rollerblades at 32 years old. So
all right, Bow Wow.
Yeah.
Don't be road bouncing out there.
If my next interview, I'm in a cast, we know why, because I tried to rollerblade to build a ramp.
Full body cast, neck and all.
Yeah, I tried to build a ramp.
With a Kevlar on.
Exactly. Something like, I'm going to take some protective measures. We all played Tony Hawk back in the day, so I think I still got it.
All right.
So, yeah. But, man, you got a new album coming out. Is that right?
Right. Yep. Final one.
The final album. What's the name of it?
Clear Skies and Runways, with my 8th and final album. I'm going to just focus on dropping singles from there. I got a lot of – that's one of the reasons why I'm going to North Carolina. I got a lot of features to do. I got about 12 features I got to record when I go down there. So I'm just working on features right now because I think dropping singles is what everybody's doing right now. I think they get a bigger buzz than the album do these days. So
Most definitely. I do hear more buzz about the single than it than about the album, because
right.
on Spotify, Pandora, whatnot, YouTube, you search the single, and with the hours of it being out, is at, I don't know, 23 million views. So
Right.
but now I'm more focused on the actual single versus the album itself.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And do you have a release date for the actual album?
Honestly, I've been pushing it back. Right now, I'm going to the part where I got to do some touch-ups on the songs. Then after that, I got to fully go back through the mastering stage of it, because I want to put out quality music. I just don't want to throw it out there, just throw it out there. Exactly. But I want to release it based on, the quality of music, because honestly, it's a part from beginning to end. I got an intro to where I got Surreal. Shout out to Surreal. She's doing the intro. She sounded like a flight attendant, doing the whole, as soon as you get on the airplane type thing, the check-in type thing, it's pretty much starting there, going into the first single, Passport. And it's almost like a journey of fun, man, throughout the whole thing. And the outro is pretty much you getting off the plane type thing. And, her telling you, hope you enjoyed everything. So I wanted to keep the storytelling behind it, having fun through it. Dropping my nice singles the way I do for the ladies, my party mixes like I do, some real stuff. So it's going to be a good one. I'm going out with a bang. I'll tell you that much.
Excellent, man. I like to hear that. So where can they reach you via social media? What are your social media platforms?
Honestly, man, you just Google Smurf Lane and there I am, man. If you go on Twitter, it's Smurf Lane. You go on Instagram, it's Smurf Lane. Facebook, is Smurf Lane. YouTube, Smurf Lane. I know it's been a while since I dropped the actual videos and stuff like that. I'm about to get back to that as well. That's one reason why I'm doing the photo shoot. I'm doing a Jordan and Jersey photo shoot. Kick that off. When I get back here, I'm going to do another photo shoot to go off the iGrind. I got some Lettermans coming out as well for the iGrind brand. It's always cold up here. Summer's only like 2 weeks. So I got a lot coming up, man. Finishing up this degree, about to get this business degree last semester. Family, man, I got a lot on my plate, but at the same time, there's not nothing I can't handle.
Time management is everything, man. Trust me.
It is. Prioritizing and time management is everything. I teach my kids that every day.
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, all right, Smurf Lane, man. I enjoyed chopping it up with you, brother. We're going to definitely do this again, bro. And please, everybody, be sure to cop that iGrind Squad T-shirts and hoodies.
You already know. Hit me up, place some orders, man. I drop it out. As you see, just that nice quality stitch. You see a lot of people out there, they doing that screen print. Screen print is cool. Yo, get you some stitch on your stuff, bro. Get you some stitch.
There you go. All right, man. Well, I enjoyed chopping it up with you, brother. We're going to end it right here.
All right, y'all stay blessed.
All right.